All right, folks, we are on the pontoon boat today. We've got some little rips in our upholstered seating on the pontoon boat, and we are going to fix them using a curved needle and some upholstery thread. This is the curved needle I'm going to be using here. And I have some brown double bonded nylon upholstery thread, and I have it tied to a loop on the end that I've tied into knots that'll catch, because what we have on this rip here is a rip that was sewed with a machine originally, and we're going to have to hand sew it and kind of use those same, go through those same holes that the machine sewed it with. And what we're using here is this upholstery sewing kit. It's sold by Unique Craft. It's got 4 of these curved needles. I'm going to be using the smallest one, and then you get a couple different colors of thread there, a brown and a black. And we'll show you today how I'll be able to fix this up, and hopefully you won't see the thread at all. But this here is the smallest size curved needle in that package. I'll put a link for that that kit in the description here. But one of the easiest ways to fix a rip like this is with one of these curved needles, especially when we have this type of upholstery where it can get kind of hard and cracky, and it takes a little bit to get through it. We don't want to be putting new holes in it. This needle is actually not designed to do that. It's just going to kind of use the holes that are already there. And what we want to do eventually when we fix this is we want to get these seams to fold in like they were originally, like that. And so when it's sewed up, it's just kind of all together like this. And there's a certain way you got to do it to get it like that, and that's what I'm going to show you. What you want to start doing is you want to start by going underneath with your curved needle here, and you can see the old threads. Sometimes you tie into the old threads. I've done that on a couch on another video, but on this one, like I said, I've tied a knot against itself a bunch of times to create a little stopper there on the edge of mine, because that's going to be easier for this job. So what I want to do is come up underneath this here and get into my first hole that doesn't have any thread in it. Sometimes the beginning ones can be a little more difficult to get into. All right, I'm going to start with this one here and just pull that needle all the way through there till it gets to my stopper on the underside. So I went from underside to the outside. Then what we're going to do is come right straight across to the hole that's right across from that hole, which is going to be this hole. And we're going to actually put this needle, I'll make sure you can see, through the first hole and back out the second one on the same side, the one directly above it. Okay, and then we'll push that through with our curved needle, and then that is going to come all the way through like that. And then what we do is we just go back over to the other side to the next hole, and then go up to the next one directly on that same side with our curved needle. You can kind of feel around a little bit to make sure that needle gets right in that hole that's right above it. Okay, and then you can see it there. This old material, you want to be careful that you don't rip through it too, because that can ruin your sew. And then you just tighten it. Then we go back down to the other side, and we keep going all the way down. And then about halfway or a quarter of the way through, there's a certain way that you're going to want to tighten these because even though this is a very strong thread, it's built for outdoor, it's UV resistant, double bonded nylon thread. It's what you want for an outdoor vehicle or couch, seating, anything. But you still got to be careful when you tighten it up, because it's still possible to break it with your hand. And so once we get to the point where we want to tighten it up, I'll kind of show you how that works. Since we're using the brown thread on this material that used to be more white looking, I'm going to show you how it's not really going to matter, because if we do this the right way, the seams will be in And you won't even really see too much of this thread here. And we just keep going down the line, opposite sides, get it like that. When you do the sew that way, it will be, I gotta come up this way. What'll happen is, and when you tighten these, I'm gonna show this to you here. See, that will be loose, and then eventually what you want to do is put your seams in and kind of bring it up, and then you can just tighten it tight. See, like that. Now you don't want to pull it too tight, but you want to put that up, kind of pinch it with your hand first, and then pull it tight. See that? You're not going to be able to see any of that brown when we're done, and we're going to all the way to the end. So I'm just going to keep going here, and then we'll show you how we're going to finish it off at the end. Another thing you can do is, if you have the thread fall out of the needle, you just put your needle through first and then you thread it. That's another technique you can do. It makes this job a little bit easier sometimes. Put the needle through first if it falls out, and then you can thread it. Oops. All right. Let's do that. Let's just keep going here. Here we go. Let's pinch in and just tighten that up a little. Tighten that up. There we are. Look at that. Okay. Pull that all pretty tight. Being careful still not to rip it. Push that down, pinch and pull, pinch and pull. Okay. Pinch and pull, pinch and pull. There we are. Okay. Look at that, it's coming together. You can see. Sometimes it's hard to find that other hole, especially when it's getting close to the end. You gotta kind of guess and then pull it back. Guess and then pull it back. There we go. Look at that. That's a good one. All right. Pinch and pull and you can't see the brown. Okay. Got only a couple more left. Alright, now you can see that. Got my thread come out here, but other than that, everything's kind of sewed up. You can't really, it's pretty tight looking. Can't really see the thread. What I like to do to finish this off is I want to go back into the previous one that I did before this last one here and just take that curved needle and go up underneath it a little. Okay. And just create this loop once I get my extra thread out here. Create this loop here and then take right through the middle and just let that tie down against itself. And then we want to go underneath that second last loop one more time, a second time, and let me pull out my extra thread here, and then of course we create a loop again, go through that loop, and let that thing get tied all the way down tight there without pulling too hard. Okay, I have my extra thread here from the kit, and take the scissors cut it down. There we are. There we have it, folks. We have a fixed pontoon boat arm. You can see it's an old boat, but instead of getting it real upholstered, I got a few other spots on here, and we are going to fix them all up using the same Unique Craft upholstery kit and curved needles and just hand sewing them up, being careful with it. All right, we'll see you on the next one.